The lady from the church asked me to pray for her husband's soul. I said, "Of course, when did he die?" And she answered, "Tomorrow." No child should die alone. That's why I decided to let my son invite some friends over. Someone started having a coughing fit at my workplace. The problem is that I work alone in a morgue. Never knock on your door from the inside at dawn. The devil can knock on the outside. These macabre stories and others that can't be told on the channel, you'll see in the Cursed ebook. The link is in the comments. Buy it now. The cold, rusted gate creaked ominously as I approached, a warning bell in the form of a sinister groan. A weathered sign, barely legible through layers of grime and decay, swayed in the frigid wind. It read the rules before entering. Enter this prison. The very words seemed to pulse with a life of their own, each letter soaked in an eerie crimson that glistened under the flickering streetlight. A shiver ran down my spine as I scanned the list of rules etched into the metal. The list was oddly short, but each rule was laden with a bone-chilling gravity. No turning back, the first rule read, its font eerily jagged. I hesitated, my breath visible in the cold night air, but curiosity pushed me forward. The second rule was even more unsettling. No contact with the guards. The rule's tone suggested a malevolent presence lurking behind every shadow. The guards, if they even existed, were not to be approached. I glanced around nervously, half expecting to see shadowy figures watching from the murky corners of the prison. As I walked through the gate, the atmosphere thickened with an oppressive dread. The prison's architecture was a grotesque parody of a forgotten era, with towering walls that seemed to lean inwards, as if trying to crush any glimmer of hope. The air was stifling, heavy with an unnatural stillness that made every step echo with foreboding. The third rule caught my eye. Do not look back. The words seemed to vibrate with a sinister energy. My gut twisted with fear, but my gaze was irresistibly drawn to the darkness I had just passed. I fought against the compulsion, forcing my eyes forward, though an invisible force seemed to tug at my resolve. The prison's interior was a labyrinth of decay, with corridors that stretched infinitely in every direction. The walls were smeared with what looked like old blood, and the faint whispers of tormented souls seemed to emanate from the very walls. It was as if the prison itself was alive, feeding on the fear of those who entered. The fourth rule, and a script that seemed to writhe on the metal plate, warned, silence is not optional. A chilling breeze rustled through the empty corridors, carrying the sound of distant, indistinguishable murmurs. I understood that to break the silence was to invite the unknown horrors that lurked in the shadows. As I ventured deeper, the sense of being watched became overwhelming. The fifth rule, barely discernible in the dim light, caution. Never speak the name of anyone you know. The significance of the rule gnawed at me. I wondered what unspeakable fate awaited those who might accidentally or intentionally breach this warning. An unnerving presence seemed to trail me, its breath cold and rancid on the back of my neck. The sixth rule, scrawled in a hasty, frantic manner, declared, "Trust no one." It was impossible to tell if the whispers I heard were real or just figments of my imagination, but the sense of betrayal was palpable. My heart pounded as I navigated through the maze-like structure. The seventh rule warned of the shadows that follow. Each corner I turned revealed more of the prison's macabre secrets, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was slithering just out of sight, watching, waiting. The eighth rule was an eerie proclamation. You will see things that should not be seen. The walls seemed to pulse with a sickly, unnatural glow. Faces appeared in the flickering shadows, contorted in agony and despair. I forced myself to look away, my skin crawling with the feeling of unseen eyes boring into me. The sensation was both physical and psychological, an insidious hunger that clawed at my sanity. The 10th rule was a warning of dire consequences. Every hour, a new rule is made. The prison's malevolent intelligence seemed to adapt and evolve, creating new horrors with each passing moment. The rules were not just warnings, but living entities that could change and twist at any given time. Time became a distorted concept as I wandered deeper. The 11th rule echoed through the corridors. Never break the rules. The sense of impending doom grew with each rule I read, and the consequences of disobedience seemed increasingly severe, hinted at by the disturbing sights and sounds around me. I stumbled upon a series of cells, each one containing grotesque, disfigured beings that clawed at the bars, their eyes wide with madness. The 12th rule was scratch hastily onto the cell door. Once inside, you are never alone. The inhabitants of these cells seemed to embody the prison's unspoken terror, their presence a constant reminder of the prison's malevolent will. The 13th rule was etched with a trembling hand. The walls have ears. The walls seemed to lean closer, as if straining to overhear my every word. The constant whispering grew louder, as if the walls themselves were conspiring against me, their ears filled with the secrets of my fear. My footsteps faltered as I reached a desolate room. The 14th rule, scrawled in a frenzy, declared, "Do not fall asleep." The darkness of the room was thick and oppressive, and a wave of exhaustion threatened to overwhelm me. I fought to stay awake, knowing that slumber might mean eternal entrapment within the prison's nightmarish grip. The 15th rule loomed over me like a dark omen. The doors never lead where you expect. Every door I tried seemed to lead me further into the prison's nightmarish labyrinth. The structure was a maze designed to disorient and trap, each passage more bewildering than the last. A low, guttural growl resonated through the corridor, sending icy terror through my veins. The 16th rule was barely visible, almost as if it was deliberately hidden. Something hunts you. The growl grew louder, and the sense of a predatory presence became almost tangible, heightening the urgency of my escape. The final rule, written in a hurried, frantic scrawl, seemed to pulse with a dreadful finality. Once you enter, there is no escape. A chilling realization settled over me as I read these words. The prison's rules were not mere guidelines, but the very fabric of its malevolent reality. My only hope was to survive long enough to unravel the secrets and find a way out before it was too late. Until next time, thank you.